Hey, what's up? So I wanted to share just some quick thoughts on the Onimusha Way of the Sword demo. It was overall cool until I got to the final boss. But before I talk about the boss, or at least I'm assuming it was the boss of the demo. But enemies should be more aggressive. I'd seen complaints on the forums. Apparently, people were throwing a fit to the point where Capcom had to release a statement saying, "Hey, the main game is going to be more difficult or whatever." And I wasn't sure, like, when I read the post, I was like, "Alright, a lot of people are saying it, but a lot of people say a lot of stupid things all the time." So I played through it, and I was playing through it, and I was like, "Alright, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy, but it's an action game. It's not a Souls-like, right?" So there is a difference between an action game and a Souls-like. These are 2 different, styles of game, right? More like Bayonetta, for example, in comparison to a Souls-like game. But I think the enemies should be definitely be more aggressive because of the action style of the game. Enemies do that thing where they don't attack and you're just sitting there looking at you, right? So they should be more aggressive for sure. Archers should shoot quicker, making you have to dodge more often when the archers are at a distance firing at you. Let's see. And then there's lizard men. The lizard men were actually pretty cool and the more difficult versions of the regular enemies. There were also the floating heads, which I didn't really understand the point of them exactly, mostly because that ease, like everything, you kind of just kill everything in 3 hits, basically. Um, but it was cool though, like the enemy style, the environment's all beautiful stuff, all very interesting and cool. Was very intrigued, I guess is the word. I was interested in it, I thought it was cool. Story seemed neat. I liked the gauntlet, and you get to this point in the demo where the gauntlet basically wakes up and starts talking to you, has a female voice, and you ask it a question and she just refuses and then stops talking. And the dude's like, "What the hell?" Called her gauntlet lady. I thought that was funny. But so generally, overall, beautiful graphics, beautiful visuals. I like the enemy style, the variation of enemy types. I thought was pretty cool. I like that it has a photo mode. Like that's awesome. But the boss, I uninstalled during the boss fight, man, and uh, there was a part in the demo where you see this big white creature, and my first assumption when he first is introduced to the demo is that he was going to be the boss of the demo, but I don't think he is, and maybe he is. Maybe there's another boss after the one that I got to and quit on. But I got to this boss. I don't remember his name. He's in my screenshots though, and at first, I did the target, so mainly for the whole thing, I was just doing regular attacks without targeting the enemies, just walking over them, attacking. There was even a mini boss, that was pretty cool. I actually died the first time on the mini boss, but then after I came back and just took it a little more slowly, took him pretty easily for the most part. Um, but but the final boss, most likes I mostly played through it without targeting, right, without locking on to an enemy. And then I got to this boss, and the first thing I did was target him because I that's usually what you need to do with the main bosses, right? It's usually better to lock onto them. But I couldn't dodge, I couldn't parry, I couldn't get any of the timing down correctly. And now, if I wanted to, I could spend half an hour perfecting these things. But I don't like doing that in an action game. That is more of a soul style game where you have to perfect your dodges and all that. And I'm just like, no, that bores me. That literally bores me, and that's just me. It might not bore you. That bores me where I have to perfect every single little movement. That drives me nuts, dude. Like, come on. Um, so then after a couple tries locking on to him, couple deaths where I just couldn't seem to do anything, maybe even a few, I decided to try not locking onto him, which was better. It actually helped not locking on. I was able to move and attack a little bit more often and dodge a little bit more. But what kept happening was even when I could tell I was dodging the attack, right? It kind of does this brief little slow mo dodge thing, right? Like a regular in most of these action games, it slows down a little bit. Some games like Bayonetta, it slows down a lot, right? It just depends. But I would see that I was getting that little dodge animation, and he was still hitting me though. Every time, literally every time I would see that little slow mo dodge thing, and he'd still smack me. After a future, I was like, I alt F4'd, man. I was like, alt F4, uninstall, I'm done. So, I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. My first assumption and thought was like, all right, I'll buy it on sale. I'm definitely not gonna pre-order it. But it just seems weird to me that a lot of games now, there's no balance. There's no real balance. They don't know if they want to be a Souls-like or an action game, or they don't actually know what the hell the damn difference is anymore. That's what seems to be happening. That's why everything is a Souls-like now. Have you noticed that? Like everything's a damn Souls-like now. It's crazy. Um, Reminds me of like Crimson Desert, where you could go through this really cool action game, and then all of a sudden the bosses are just stupid, whatever. And I haven't played that in a while now, and I have been meaning to go return to it, check it out since all of the updates, because there've been a lot of changes since I've played. But that's what it reminds me of, though. I've seen this constantly for the past at least 5 years, if not longer. But at least like everything is Souls-like, man. Souls-like or roguelike, which I don't have a problem. I actually like roguelikes and stuff, but it's just the over difficulty, especially with bosses. It's just weird. The balance is dead, man. It's so rare to come across a game with real balance, like Spider-Man games. Good balance between regular enemies, the harder enemies, and the bosses. A fair balance, especially specifically for an action game, right? Not a Souls-like, but an action game like Batman Arkham or Sleeping Dogs, and like a good action game, man. Even Kingdoms of Amalur, I would say, like an action RPG, right? Like so it, but everything now is a Souls-like. Basically, it's just the strangest thing, especially having played through this, seeing, understanding the complaints about it being too easy or whatever, and then getting to the boss fight and being like, did these people even get to the boss? Did all these people complaining about this game being too easy even get to the boss? Because I have to assume that they got so bored by the easiness of the game that they didn't even get to the boss. They didn't even see how difficult the boss was. That's my guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just suck. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. I think they didn't even make it to the boss. That's kind of funny to me to think about. Because I was like, because I do that too sometimes if I'm playing through a game or a demo and it's a little too easy. I'm like, all right, I like it, but whatever, kind of a thing, and then I'll just turn it off. I can't remember the last time I've done that, but yeah, I have done it before. If a game's too easy, it's kind of boring. Even if it's cool, it's kind of boring, right? So it's just like, well, I'll play it when I'm in the mood, kind of a thing, whatever. I do play easy games. I like those bubble games like Wuthering Waves. Very easy game, but it's cool. It's fun. If I want to play something simple, there we go. I even like Soulframe, which reminds me of that. Or Warframe is a great example, as why I never kept playing through that game. I got stuck on a stupid mission because the mission itself was dumb, but the enemies were way too easy. A fun action game. Even Destiny, for example, is really simple. It's a lot more engaging. I think Destiny is a lot more engaging than like Warframe, for example. In comparison, I would rather play Destiny than Warframe. But it's not because it's difficult. It's just a lot of fun. Like it's pretty good. Anyways, I rambled on too long. I didn't mean to. I thought it was funny because I was like, damn it, man. I did like this demo. I thought it was cool. Then I got to the boss and literally was like, screw you, I'm out. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.